here is the famous Hilbert Museum through this doorway.
Key to it.
Or he's going to show us the highlights. Walk through.
Oh no.
What happened?
The lights are starting to go.
Uh-oh.
It's dark in here.
It's dim. Can't really see everything. Oh well. May have to do something about that. Here's Ronald Reagan's signature.
Wow.
Gary got in person at this event. There's all kinds of
It's the
signatures.
first time in the whole 8 years I've lived here that's done that.
Just my timing that the lighting.
These are the same balls that have been in here since day one. It's because I'm never down here hardly. Yeah, this is when I worked for the California Angels in 1985 as a video technician. So I had access to the players, and my job was to videotape all the players, coaches, pitchers, even games for the umpires so they could critique their calls. And working for the Angels, I had access to the players and the coaches and staff on a daily basis, and that year was the 25th anniversary of the Angels, and they made these portraits, a set of portraits for the players and the owners.
That you see here.
Yeah. And
On the first
this
one.
one, and they're all autographed. So the first one, of course, is owner Gene Autry, who, of course, we all know as a major movie star and
Right.
owner of the Angels.
And it actually says to Gary.
Yeah, personalized to me
My
back
best.
on April 21st, 1985.
Uh-huh.
And so that was a long time ago, 26 years ago. And so he signed it. And then I got Reggie Jackson to sign his, which was really cool. And then Albie Pearson and Ted Klaczewski to sign this one.
And there's Bobby Grich.
Bobby Grich and Bobby Knopp, both second basemen for the Angels back in the day.
Don Baylor.
Don Baylor.
Look again, it says to Gary. My best wishes.
Yeah.
Don.
I had them all say to Gary.
And then Jim Fregosi.
Fregosi was the manager of the Angels at the time.
Right.
So,
He,
a set of portraits.
now, not to lose some of this stuff, there's pictures of Gary with James Woods. They shot a movie here. We learned a little bit about that at Gonzaga. And this is Bob Eubanks. Everybody knows Bob Eubanks. And that's J-Lo, of course, who also signed this for Gary.
Yeah.
So Sugar Ray Leonard signed something. And what is that?
Yeah, that's Sugar Ray Leonard. That's a magazine photo there.
Magazine photo. Here's some movie memorabilia. Then he's got a collection of radios over here. Is any of this signed? You can see what it is on the video, some old-time posters.
That's Elvis Presley's first album ever made,
Right,
1956.
right. And then the Magical Mystery Tour of the Beatles. All vinyl stuff, so it's kind of classic.
Yeah.
And he's got a whole series of here. We don't have time to go through every single little thing here, but we wanted to get the highlights.
Yeah, and the lowlights of O.J. Simpson.
There's a
Signed
signed
picture.
O.J. Simpson picture here. So that's one of the lowlights, notorious. So now let's see what else here is kind of,
Some of my old radio collection.
right. That's that. This is neat. This is Michael Jackson, who Gary interviewed. And Michael Jackson signed both of these photos for Gary. I think he's got kind of a cool signature. It's really big. You can see he has a bit of an ego. That's all right. I think his signature is really neat.
Yeah. And then, of course, this is
a famous
Honolulu Advertiser.
Pearl
The day
Harbor.
The Japs bombed Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
The original, December 7th, 1941.
That's the paper.
That's the paper right there.
Right.
Yeah, and this is
It's this here.
some autographs, King Griffey Jr. photo, and then these are all King Griffey Jr. rookie cards that he signed for
Right.
me.
And see,
And
Gary.
of course, me and
this?
King Griffey Jr.
There he is. There's a picture of him. So
Yeah.
Gary, when he would interview these baseball players, basically a lot of the times he would bring some kind of memorabilia, usually cards, baseball cards, and they would sign them for him.
Yep.
And so he's got tons of signed, like we say, we can't go through every one, but so many baseball players, pros, retired and working.
And Hall of Famers and now dead Hall of Famers.
Yeah, lots of them, just
Yeah,
lots
like
and lots of them.
John Wooden and Bob Hope.
Yeah, there's John Wooden, the famous coach for UCLA basketball.
And the Three Stooges.
He got through sort of inquired by inheritance. But this Bob Hope actually signed for you, right?
Yes.
And Gary met Bob Hope on a couple occasions. I met Bob Hope on a couple of occasions because I was one occasion when I actually met him and shook his hand because I was with Gary at a golf tournament in 1977, I think, right?
Yeah,
Long time ago. We saw a lot of celebrities, but the biggest one was Bob Hope and President Ford that day. So this shows that Gary went to every single Raiders game for a number of years, right?
10 years worth.
10 years worth of
press credentials
at Raiders games.
when I covered the Raiders for my
Okay.
radio station.
Now, of these baseballs, what should we look at here? I don't want to miss the football. The football's kind of a good story. There's a couple of them. But,
That's the one that's the
okay,
miracle ball.
Miracle Ball. There's a big story about this. And that one was signed by the 49ers.
Yes.
For which?
1992.
1992. Okay, and what about this one here? That was signed by?
This one is another ball signed by a few 49ers back in the mid-90s.
Okay, and how about
And
this
the other
one?
ball's a team ball from the Raiders.
Okay. And they came down to some charitable events and they signed those footballs for you when they were at those events, right? Okay, and anything special about these balls?
And something that Rob would probably like this.
My brother Rob would maybe be interested in this
This
because,
is Nolan Ryan signed both of those cards.
right? Did he sign them for you or they were? Yeah. So you showed him these cards one time and you were with him and he signed them. By the way, Gary, when he was a kid, the Angels lived close to his house, just in Placentia, and they knew Gary. They would drive him home. So Nolan Ryan drove you home from Angel games
Many games, yeah.
when you were a kid.
Yeah, him and Dave Chalk, Joe LaHood, Bill Russell, Charlie Huff.
Okay, that's the Dodgers, on the
They
Dodgers.
drive me home from a lot of games too. It's awesome.
Yeah. So
It's awesome.
you really knew Bill Russell
Oh,
well,
yeah. Bill
because
Russell,
I met
Charlie
him
Huff.
because of you. Well, I met a lot of those guys when I would hang out with you sometimes.
Yeah.
But here's some signed balls of various people. Tim Palmer, Cecil Fielder. Anyway, and this doesn't even begin to show all of the foul balls that Gary has caught
I've
over
got
the
a
years.
bag full of those
Foul
somewhere
balls.
else in the house.
So here's some country. Mel Tillis's daughter Pam was up there, and she signed something for him. Number of different
Osmond.
Donnie Osmond signed something for him.
John Rice Davies.
John Rice Davies, who was in Raiders of the Lost Ark. This is George Bush's signature. What was the event that you got his signature at?
It was a press conference that I was
A press conference.
covering years ago.
And where was that?
That was in Coeur d'Alene.
It was in Coeur d'Alene? Oh, okay, so Bush came to Coeur d'Alene and there was an event. These are all signed photos. Gary with Tommy Lasorda, who he got to know pretty well, from what I understand. Here's one with Darryl Strawberry, Vin Scully, Gary's idol, and
Gary's other idol, Dick Enberg.
Dick Enberg right there. All of these are signed. It's pretty neat. More baseballs
Yeah.
signed by various people, and I think you, Gary, you got these baseball sort of holders, protective holders with plates identifying who signed the ball, right?
Yes.
On each of these.
Yeah, and I made them all uniform, so they're all matching.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is the
What's your favorite of these that have been signed? I mean, like this has got a number of signatures on it. That's the whole.
That's the Lancaster Jethawks team.
Okay. I don't know who that is.
Play-by-play for Lancaster Jethawks for the
So
minor league for the Mariners back in 1996.
Okay. So that's what that was for.
One of my favorite ones would be Roger Clemens' 2000 official ball 2000 World Series that he signed this ball and his card.
That's pretty big.
Roger Clemens is
Famous. Yeah.
big. And then, of course, I have like on my Hall of Fame row here.
You got Hank Aaron.
Pete Rose,
Right.
Hank Aaron, and we have Yogi Berra,
Yeah.
Frank Robinson,
Mm-hmm.
Willie Stargell, and Rod Carew.
Those are some outstanding baseball
Yeah,
players right
yeah.
there.
And these are team balls.
Okay.
97, 98, and 99 California Angels.
All of them.
All three team balls for the Angels. Then we have 1974, 2 of those from the World Series from the Dodgers when they were in the World Series in 1974.
And the whole team signed these balls.
Yep, and then this one is 1972 Brewers, Milwaukee Brewers, that my dad's best friend Del Crandall was the manager of the Brewers, so he gave me that ball when I was a 9-year-old
Right.
kid at the time.
Now you can notice that these
They're
balls
faded.
are a little bit more faded than these ones.
Yeah.
But you can still, there are signatures there of all the players.
Yeah.
So here's some more Lasorda and
And Deneen.
right, Gary's wife Deneen with again Lasorda and Vince Scully.
And then there's me with Tommy Lasorda and me with Harry Carey.
The famous, everybody knows Harry Carey, the announcer for the Cubs.
Yeah.
Lasorda also right there.
And of course, Vince Scully photo and Chick Hearn,
Chick Hearn of the Lakers, so that was
Signed
kind of
that.
cool. It says Gary, love ya,
the Chickster.
the Chickster. That's pretty fun.
Yeah. And there's me with Hank Aaron.
That's another big one right there.
That's Hank Aaron.
Do you have a ball signed by him?
Yeah,
I just saw it back there, right.
Yeah.
So that was
And then
neat.
there's me with Johnny Bench,
Mm-hmm.
Hall of Fame catcher,
Right,
and me interviewing Pete Rose right before he got kicked out of baseball.
right.
So I was one of the last.
And here,
Reporters to get
Pete
to
Rose
actually-
signed this, but
Those are tickets and the Sports Illustrated magazine he signed,
okay, that's nice.
breaking the record.
When did he sign
Good
that for you?
record.
Do you know?
Same time he signed that, which was I don't know, 5 years ago. The last one I
Okay.
saw him.
Okay. So,
And, then we have a picture of Shaquille O'Neal,
mm-hmm.
who autographed this photo, and that was his first Laker photo when he became a Laker.
And one of
He
the,
autographed his 2 rookie cards for me as well.
Gary pointed out to me earlier that a bead of sweat fell off of
His forehead.
Shaq's forehead, and it sort of made the R in Gary a little blurry. So there's DNA
Yeah,
from Shaq on that.
full on DNA. Yep.
So
Yep.
later on, if somebody goes and gets this 300 years ago, and I mean 300 years from now, and decides to clone Shaq, they can do it with Gary's picture.
And this, of course, is my pride and joy. This is the official ball 1981 World Series with the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
Full autograph team ball.
Yeah, I can focus on it from here. You want to point out some of the signatures?
Um,
Ron Say was hard to find. I remember that.
there's Fernando Valenzuela's rookie signature. Of course, at that time he couldn't read or write English, so it's pretty much a scribble.
Right, which
And
is
his
unique.
signature
right?
is much different now than it was back then when this was on there, but it's a rare signature because it was one of the first ones he ever put on a ball.
Right. 'Cause
And it was his rookie year in 1981 when he won the World Series and he won the Cy Young Award that year, his rookie season.
Now is that Bill Russell?
And Bill Russell's right below his
Mhm.
signature there. I don't know if you're getting glare off that.
No, it's not too
It's not
bad.
too
No,
bad.
who's this up above him?
That's, I don't have my glasses on, so I can't tell.
Okay.
But I
Looks
think
like
it's Bobby Castillo, possibly.
All right. Then.
And then, of course, Tommy Lasorda right here on the sweet spot.
Mm-hmm.
And then Steve Garvey is right above him right there. And then Steve Sachs, who was a big second baseman, that was
Right.
there.
Is Kirk Gibson?
No,
No,
he
that's
wasn't
later.
on it. He
That's
was
right.
later. Yeah, but anyways, this is a very rare baseball, especially in this condition.
Right.
It still looks brand new 30 years later.
Yeah, it really does. I can attest to that. It
So,
looks really, really nice.
Signatures are still pretty strong on here. So I don't know, a diehard Dodger fan might pay $5,000 for this ball.
Well, yeah, that's very cool.
But
Official ball of the 1981
81
World Series, and they all signed it.
yeah, and Bill Russell was the one who gave me this ball,
Whoops.
and I wound up getting all the signatures on it
Trying to
that
get
were
the
missing.
signatures to face this way. Sort of hard sometimes to get this thing to focus. There we go. Yeah, that's Steve Sachs. Anyway, that's your pride and joy, isn't it?
That's my pride and joy.
It has an emotional meaning to you too, though, since you got to know the Dodgers so well during all those years.
Yeah.
So, and the other balls, there's another Dodger ball, isn't there? Or is...
This is official ball 1988 All-Star game
Okay.
with Steve Garvey's signature on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is also Steve Garvey's rookie card from 1971
Right.
that he signed for me.
Which he doesn't normally
And
sign
he
rookie.
normally does not sign his rookie card for anybody because he doesn't want to deface supposedly the value of a card.
Mm-hmm.
But he signed it for me because I've known him for so many years. He just says, all right, Gary, I'll sign this for you. So that's a pretty nice piece right there.
Yeah.
I mean, you won't see this anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure.
And here's another ball Fernando Valenzuela signed
Yeah.
much later, though.
Much
so
later.
his signature looks very
his
different.
signature looks way different. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what else have we got here? Mickey Mantle.
Yeah. This is a 3x5 card that Mickey Mantle signed for me. I used to use these 3x5 cards to take notes when I interview ball players.
Right.
I have 3x5 cards to write out questions to give to the players or whatnot. So I had it on me when I did an interview with Mickey Mantle, and I asked him if he would sign, and he signed the card.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a couple of his baseball cards he also signed for me as well. But anything with Mickey Mantle's signature on is worth a lot of money. It's just, he's the icon of baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball's past.
Yep.
So
that's pretty cool. And then anything else?
this thing here, I'll show this real quick. This is the official World Series records book from 1957. And on it, on the cover, is Don Larson, who pitched the perfect game in the 1956 World Series for the Yankees, and it's never been done ever since. He's the only one ever to do it, and he signed this for me because Don Larson lives here in Hayden, in the next town over from me. So he just lives down the road from me, so I see him all the time. So whenever I get anything with him on it, he'll sign it for me. And this is one of the things. It's an official record book, World Series records from 1957. So this is 54 years old right now, this book.
Yeah.
And
it looks good.
Yeah.
Now, I know you had some stuff with like Willie Mays, and I think it's in this framed.
This here is my ultimate Hall of Fame
team, sort of all-star team.
Yeah, framed, shaped like a baseball diamond. We've got major stars.
And all these are signed.
Every one of these are autographed.
Right.
That they personally signed for me. Hank Aaron from 1964.
Right.
That's his card that he had in 64 in left field. 1958, Mickey Mantle in center field.
Right.
1954 Bowman card from Willie Mays.
Isn't that great?
Signed.
That's Willie Mays' signature right there.
And then we have 1968 Brooks Robinson at third base.
Uh-huh.
We have a 1960 Luke Appling Hall of Fame shortstop. And then we have a 1961 Billy Martin.
I'm trying to
Second
focus on
base.
these. The focus is not so great. Sorry, folks. Let me see if I can do a better job here. Yeah, I can see a lot. Okay, there's Billy Martin
Lou Kaplan,
and
Brooks Robinson. And then at first base, Carl Yastrzemski.
Okay, all of these are signed. Then we
Yeah,
have.
and then on the mound is 1957 Don Newcomb from the Dodgers. And then down there we have 1973 Sparky Anderson, who just passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 73 rookie card of Carlton Fisk.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a 1974 Johnny Bench behind the plate. 1958 Dale Crandall.
And there's Del Crandall again, was a childhood friend of Gary's dad.
Yes, and they were best friends until my dad passed away. So
Right, so your
he
dad
took
knew
over
Del
his life.
Crandall the way that I know you.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. And then Bill Rigney was an old manager for the Angels back in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
He signed that for me. And these are all of Dale Crandall's baseball cards when he was a player.
Mm-hmm.
In year order, 1950 all the way to 1967 when he retired.
And they're all signed, right?
And every one of these are autographed by Dale Crandall.
Right. Now, are these signed? These ones here?
Barry Bonds signed that for me right there.
Barry Bonds signed that.
Yeah.
And you've met, well, Barry Bonds was like a kid when you met him.
I knew Barry Bonds when he was 13 years old.
Because he would come to the stadium and where
I'd be
you,
there.
because he's the son of Bobby.
Bobby Bonds, who was on the Angels at the time, yeah.
Right.
Back in the 70s.
Okay. Hank Aaron again.
Yeah,
Is that one signed?
1957.
Is that one
It's
signed?
not signed.
Not signed. Okay.
But this is an error card. Reverse negative is what they call it.
Okay.
He's a right-hander. But in this photo, he's hitting left-handed.
So
And
that's
everything's
valuable.
backwards.
Right.
The photo, the name.
So because it's a mistake, that could be worth money.
It's worth about $400.
Okay. And it's just going to go up in value probably.
And that's a Derek Jeter rookie card for the Yankees.
Rookie card of Derek Jeter, so that would be of interest.
And that's a 1968 Mickey Mantle card.
And then there's just I can't go through every single one of these now, but you can see that he's framed all of these old baseball cards,
And they're autographed.
and every single one is autographed? Or
Well, this panel, this one.
this one, they're all
everyone's
autographed.
And then all these are autographed. All three of these.
All three of these ones here.
Yeah. And
Right.
these are all Don Larson and Rocky Bridges, who's another old timer that lives here in Hayden.
Oh, so that's how you were able to get
Yeah,
so
so
many from him.
I put my Hayden connection all on this one.
And this is another Willie
Yeah.
Mays signed one. I don't know, when did you see
Willie
Willie
signed
Mays?
that.
When did you
That
see him?
one, I saw him back in 96.
Okay.
At a show a sports show.
A sports show.
I
Okay.
had him sign that card for me and did an
I
interview
see.
with him. So,
Is there any in particular one of these that is your favorite, or a couple favorites?
they're all my favorites. I can't pick one over the other.
Because you like them so much, huh?
Now, here's something that's really cool. These right here are from the 1933 Gowdy set. This is Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig, who are major Hall of Famers, of course. Everybody knows who Babe Ruth is. And that's that's his rookie card. Even though he played many years prior to this, but they just didn't make cards back in those days. This is the first set of cards they made, so they technically call this his rookie card because they'd never made a Babe Ruth card before. Now, if these cards were in better condition, this would be like a $5,000 card. This would be like $1,500 card. But they're, not in the greatest of condition, but I don't care. It's their original cards. That's all I care about. You can't just find these walking around any day.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
They're hard to come by, so that's the rarity of that right there.
That's neat.
Yeah.
And-
And that right here this bat I got from the California Angels when I was working for them. Rod Carew, who got hit 3,000 on August 4th of 1985. That bat's in the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. Well, on August 3rd, 1985, he got career hit 2,999, and he got a broken bat single. So he had the ball boy throw the bat in the trash can because he couldn't use it anymore. After the game, I went down to the trash can from my room that I was working for with the Angels.
And it's this bat that you're holding now.
I grabbed the bat, went to Rod's locker, and asked him if I could have the bat. And he said, "I don't care. I'm not going to use it anymore. I threw it away. You can have it." So this is career hit 2,999 with this bat. And it's one of one. I'm the only one that's got it.
Right.
And I've had it all these years since 1985.
That's pretty neat.
So, yeah, this is a really
It
good
has
bat.
it has his number,
Yeah, I don't know if you can see that.
29 on
It
the,
has his number on the knob.
and it
It's
even
got
has
the
his
pine
name.
tar still on the bat.
Pine tar still on the bat,
And
and it has his name on it.
yeah, right there, Rod Carew.
I believe those things. Whoops. There we go. There you go.
Yeah.
Pretty neat stuff. So, got some other bats here also of.
Game used bats from ball players that
Mm-hmm.
that I knew back in the day.
And I have to point something out that has no bearing whatsoever on all of this magnificent memorabilia, and that is that Gary devised a mitt holder for this pipe that's sticking out the wall. I have no idea why the pipe is sticking out of the wall. It has something to do with the way they heat the house here, I think, which you may have noticed also. In the back, when I was around there, there's some pipes there, and it's, what's the name of this heating system?
It's radiant.
Radiant heating.
Yeah.
And so, just so happens that this turned out to be a great mitt holder.
Mm-hmm. And these mitts, by the way, are from different eras of baseball.
Okay.
This mitt here looks like a big pot holder.
Mm-hmm.
This is a first baseman's mitt from the 1920s.
Yeah, and it looks like you could barely hold a baseball cupped in that thing. I mean, not an
And we
ideal.
have an old mitt from the 1930s.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 1940s mitt here.
Where it's starting to look like a modern mitt now.
Yeah.
That's starting to.
Yeah. And then this catcher's mitt, this old catcher's mitt, is one of Dale Crandall's catcher's mitts that he played with. And in fact, as you see, it's got his signature imprinted
Right.
into the mitt from McGregor.
Right. Who the manufacturers
right.
actually imprinted his signature on the mitt.
So,
It's just a pretty big deal to have your name imprinted on a mitt.
yeah.
That means you were pretty successful in your time.
Yeah.
All right.
So, there we go.
There you go. That's the highlights of the Gary Hilbert Sports Memorabilia Museum. Signing off.